Hey everybody, Sprocket here. Sorry it's been so long since I put a video out, but you ever get so wrapped up in life that you forget to do the things you enjoy? Well, that's kind of where I was and am. That and life in general just got in the way of doing anything with my projects. But just wanted to show you this. I finally got these parts in the mail that were on back order for 6 months. It's pretty stinking long. Of course, here, what happened with these is they sent me one that said it was a pair, but it literally only had one in the package. So these are for where you can't see because it's too dark. But for the Skylark, they are the dust caps that go over them. Mine were getting a little bit sloppy. They won't stay tight anymore, and rather than try and modify them to make them stay tight, plus they're dented up, I decided they weren't real expensive, so I just got some new ones. But again, like I said, they were on back order. Now this other piece here, hey, oh now, that is the set of door seals for the rear doors. These right here. As you can see, they're still here. They kind of move a little bit, but I don't know if you can hear how crunchy they are. And that was something I wanted to make sure I got done on this car before I just, before I start driving it, is to make sure I can get it as sealed up as possible to prevent more rust from happening. I haven't really gotten much else done, so I figure what I want to do today is to work on those rear door seals before that, and put those little dust caps on because they don't take much time. Now, I kind of sort of started working on another wheel. I think I put a video about that, but I still have 2 left. This is one of them to clean up and paint, more or less restore, I guess is a good way of putting it, but not to the point of making them outstanding or beautiful or anything like that. They're still going to be used, which that's what I want. I don't want it to look like it's brand new. Otherwise, I just buy brand new stuff. But nope. I will show you more in a little bit here. Give you kind of sort of like a before and after on those dust caps. Oh, something I forgot. I'm going to need some grease. I always find it a good rule of thumb to put a little bit of grease inside the caps. 1, to keep them from rusting, but 2, also to make sure that the grease stays in there. So, obviously, my Suburban. Now I fixed the door handle here. There's something else I had to do with what was going on. You can see I got some issues here. It's a little thin. Crunchy. So I'm going to have to patch that up. But I made sure that this now actually works. It's been giving me grief lately. What I found out was the metal right here, the sheet metal, where I'm pointing with my thumb, this whole thing was bent down. So what was happening was the plunger on the back side of the button was just skipping right over top of, it was going bloop, right over top of the actual mechanism in here that pivots and actually unlatches the door. So that's fixed. So, grease. Left it in the truck. Oh, hey Dad, I know you're going to watch this at some point. Look what I have for you to start fires with. Yeah. That'll be nice. Oh, that is for another project, which I haven't revealed yet. That's a limited slip differential. But anyway, grease. Show you more in a minute. Okay, so this is the passenger side. As you can see, there's the bumper. So first thing we want to do, take our flathead here, Now, sometimes you have to use something to tap it. Whoops, a little sideways. But mine are loose enough that you can just go in here and pry a little bit. And just a little bit of twisting action. We're not trying to yank things. Now you see how easily this one moved. That's part of the reason why I'm replacing them. You see I got a little bit of grease in there. That's what I did with this one, just to keep stuff from rusting inside of there. Oh, something else. I want to mention this. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I probably did, but I'm going to make sure I say it again because it's good to know and to be sure you do. Anytime you mess with something that has a cotter pin, that right there, if you remove it, you have to bend it, please just replace it. It's not worth the risk for this little 2-cent whatever item coming loose, missing, or pieces of it going down inside the bearings and just ripping them up, and then you lose the hub. It's just not worth it. So, first thing I want to do, now that I got my old cap off, grab my new one, which I just happened to take notice. I don't know if this will focus or not. There it goes. Kind of. Oh, focus you. It does not want to focus. Yeah, there we go. It says CPP on it. Not exactly sure what that means, but so we want to check the diameter of this and make sure that it fits on here nice. So take your cap. Ooh, that is a bit snug, which is a good thing. Feels like it might go in there. So what I like to do is take a punch on this little lip right here. You got to get it started first. Now, if you have to tap on this outside here at all, never ever use a steel hammer. Use a mallet, a dead blow, something like that. Otherwise, your caps end up looking all dented up like this is, because this is not how this started life. So you can be gently with that. Now, once you get it started, what I like to do is to, ooh, that is really close. Take a punch on this lip and just tap in a circular motion around to sink it down in where it needs to go. Okay? So I'll show you when I get done. Something I forgot to mention, which helps you get this thing started. This inside edge right here has a slight chamfer to it, so it's a little bit of an angle like this. That'll help you get the new cap started. Wow, would help if I'm centered. So wanted to make sure you knew that, so that way it will it helps you get things going in the right direction. All right, well, it's in. It ain't pretty. This is another one of those times where having the right tools would have made this go a little bit easier. So, this is actually the first time I've ever put a brand new cap on, and I didn't realize getting that thing started is like putting on like a metal-clad wheel seal. If you're familiar with those, they always want to cock when you try to get them started because they're a press fit. This, I'll show you on this one. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Now this one here, the edge over here is kind of at an angle. It sticks out like that. Well, the new one, it's that way all the way around. And trying to get it started in that hole, because like I said, it's supposed to be a press fit, because this, you don't want it coming off because it keeps that grease in there. That was a bear. So the easiest way, if you can come up with like a piece of tubing or something like it, or a socket big enough that'll catch just this lip on the outside, and then just like with a metal clad wheel seal, having a seal installer or a piece of flat plate, something like that. Obviously a piece of flat wouldn't work on this, but basically to shock it into starting, that's going to be the best way to get that thing to start. But at any rate, it's in. I got to get the other one in. It's going to be the same process, which hopefully it doesn't take quite as long, because that took way too long. It was like 40 minutes screwing around trying to get this thing to start. So, at any rate, not really going to get a whole lot more done today, but if I do, I'll show you. If not, have a good one. Okay, so this was the loose one. Now, you shouldn't be able to do this. Grab a hold of it and pop it off. This is why and what prompted me to get new ones. Because that should be a nice tight fit. You should have to pry it off with a screwdriver or something underneath of this lip right here. You should not be able to pull it off by hand. Now, something I forgot to mention with these new cotter pins. You always want to make sure that when you fold it up over, it hugs this shaft nice and tight, and you want to trim it off here because anything sticking out like this, you could have low clearance on the inside of the cap here. Now this one, it's not as big a deal because of the shape of it, but on the new one, it doesn't have that square edge to it. If I can get it out of here, show you. Doing things one-handed is not always easy. You can see this one's rounded. So what'll happen is if this is too long and there's not enough clearance, it's going to scrape on the inside of this cap. Eventually it'll cut a hole in it. Plus you'll get these metal shavings in here going through your bearings, which you really don't want. Alright, well, there's the other side, as you can see, driver's side. Now, this one went a lot easier, a lot faster because figured out how to do it better. I still wish I would have had, you see this little ring right here. Basically what I did was use this here piece, which is not big enough in diameter, but this thing wanted to go, let's say it wanted to tilt this way. So what I would do is put this up against the lip over there and hammer, on that edge. I don't know if you can see my big fat finger in there. Boom, 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 that edge right there to try and get it to start. Now, that worked to an extent, but if you're worried about cosmetics, don't do it that way. Do it like I said, get something that's big enough in diameter that'll slide over this whole rounded area and it'll catch just that lip. So you can just go right over top of everything and pound it in to get it started. Like I said, to shock it into starting. But, yeah, so those are done. Yay! And they're tight. Don't move. So, as you can see, that took a lot less time. But that gives me a little bit of time. I might work on one of those wheel or door seals. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Alright, so one thing you want to do before you start ripping apart the old seal, just in case, you want to take your new seal and kind of sort of lay it out where it needs to go to make sure it's the right shape. It's not too big. It should be kind of snug fitting in there. But you want to make sure you do that before you destroy the old seal, especially if it kind of sort of works. But just want to make sure, you know, teachable moment. Do that first. That's bit me in the butt in the past. Alright, so another thing with these seals. As you can see, I've got the old one out. Now around the top of the window frame here, which you can't really see, but inside of here there was basically adhesive or glue, weather strip adhesive. So all around this in this channel, because that's the only place where it doesn't have little plastic pins, these right here, which I have to remove yet, but those hold it in down around the door panel and on the bottom, but at the top here you got to glue it in. So one thing, there is a left and right on these. I know, thank you Captain Obvious, right? So what you want to be sure of is that you put it in the correct way. Now if you look at this, here's the channel that sits inside of here. Okay, so you see how it's shaped specifically one way. It's got this nice beveled edge to it. Okay, now up inside of here, which you're gonna have a hard time seeing, maybe if I get you sunlight, but this edge here also is contoured this way. Now you want those to match up, at least on this car. Some cars it might be different, but you want that to match up because that's the way it's designed to seal. If you try and put it the other way, it's going to block up against it, and then this thing is going to get all folded and stupid, and it's just not going to work the way it's supposed to work. So, be sure you got the right part on the right side of the car. And I don't mean because I'm working on the passenger side. The correct side. Something else, forgot to mention it. Dry fit. Before you put glue up in this channel, get everything cleaned up, ready for the new seal. Put it in place before you glue it. Make sure that everything works as it's designed, everything lines up and goes into place Then put your glue in there and close the door so the glue sits where it's supposed to sit. Hey, sometimes they actually make it easy for you. So, remember I was saying about left side, right side, make sure you got the right one? See, I got a green pin. Now, it's going to be hard for you to see this, but right here, it actually tells you if it'll focus. Yeah, there you go. On some models, pins are color-coded. Red driver side, green passenger side. So I got a green one. I'm on the passenger side. So, common sense will get you there, but sometimes reading the directions will get you there faster. Alright, so, the way to do this, okay, easiest way. So, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but this edge here is, I mean, it's rounded, but it's sharper than this edge. This is a nice rounded edge on the inside here. And then there's a pocket that this here sits into. So, what I'm doing is I'm forcing it down into that edge on this side, and I'm feeding it through here. Now, preferably you'd want to use something thin and plastic, but this is what I got. It's blunt and it's skinny, and you just work it into that groove in there very slowly. Now what you want to make sure is you get the whole thing in there, because sometimes what will happen is as you're working it in, what you'll see is something like that. So you would work that back in there. Now this is the dry fit stage, so I'm just seeing if everything fits right. So far, looks pretty good. But yeah, the dry fit stage, I'm not going to have time to do anything else today because I only have a certain amount of time before I got to get ready for work. So that's another reason why I haven't been putting out a whole bunch of videos. I've been working, so I have been blessed enough to still be working during the pandemic. But at any rate, I'll show you what it looks like once I get done putting it in, dry fitting it, so that way you can see kind of sort of what it's going to look like when it's installed for good. Thing I need to warn you guys about, because I forgot to mention it. As you install this seal, it's going to stretch, so it's going to get longer. So that's one thing you got to be careful for, especially when you get down here and you got the pins that need to line up with the holes. Okay, I found this out because I started up here in this corner because I thought that would be a good place to start because it's a nice sharp angle, nice place to start. The problem is, as I installed it along this edge, it got longer and this first pin was about an inch too low. So what I had to do was pull it back out, put the pin in first, and then work it back up in to get the slack out of it. Now as you can see, we're still good. We're still lined up with the pin, and we're lined up over there in the corner. But you got to be careful of that because, like I said, this will stretch as you go to put it in. It doesn't seem like it's stretching, but it is. So watch out for that. Alright, so there's the new door seal. It's installed. The only place I have is slightly ill-fitting. Right here in this corner, it kind of comes out a little bit. But it needs to be tighter in the corner anyway, so that'll probably help out. Now, like I said, this is only dry fitted except for the bottom. All the little pins are down back in place. Pins, let me show you. So, more often than not, when you go to pull the old seal out, all these pins will stay in the door. Whoop. Okay. So, that little T part, that's usually up inside the seal itself, and then this is inside the door. So what I found the best way to get these out of the door is a pair of dikes or diagonal cutting pliers, as they are commonly known, but dikes is what they go by, it's short for that. But anyway, just go up underneath this here T where my thumbnail is, and use the door itself to pry up on it to get it out. Now sometimes they break and you only have this little piece stuck in the door. Well, if that's the case, just push it through the hole and boom, it's out of the way. You put the new one in. But yeah, so that's in there. Ooh, and it's actually working too, because remember how easy this used to close? Now we got a nice tight seal going on around it. That's a good thing, because that'll keep water out. Just wish I could find these window sweeps, because they're apparently hard to come by. But Or actually, no, the sweeps are easy. It's the channels here. You can see mine are falling apart. But, yeah. Well, that's it for today. About time to take care of the animals and get ready for work. So, till next time, have a good one.